I'm fighting for working families. I'm fighting to hold people's feet to the fire. I'm fighting for more cops on Wall Street. I'm fighting for our students. I'm fighting for our seniors. God, this is a fabulous job. Who could ask for this?
That's Elizabeth Warren. To liberals, she's known as the fierce senator who took on the banks after the financial crisis. To conservatives, she's better known for being widely mocked for claiming Native American ancestry. Ever since she burst onto the Washington scene 10 years ago, there have been a number of progressive voices calling on her to run for president. She didn't in 2016, but is clearly gearing up for a campaign this time around. But who exactly is Elizabeth Warren, and what are her chances of winning in 2020? Warren was born Elizabeth Ann Herring in Oklahoma City on June 22, 1949. The fourth child of Pauline and Donald Jones Herring, her father worked as a janitor, while her mother took telephone orders at Sears. While attending Northwest Classen High School, she won the state high school debating championship and a debate scholarship to George Washington University. But after 2 years, she dropped out to marry Jim Warren in 1968. The couple had 2 children, Amelia and Alexander, before they divorced in 1978. 2 years later, she married Bruce Mann, but kept her first husband's name. Warren taught at several universities, such as Harvard Law School, while specializing in bankruptcy law. When the 2008 financial crisis hit, she came to Washington as an aide to congressional Democrats overseeing President George W. Bush's bank bailout program. She would go on to be the chief architect of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau under President Obama.
But from now on, consumers will also have a powerful watchdog, a tough, independent watchdog whose job it is to stand up for their financial interests, for their family's future.
She then ran for Senate in Massachusetts in 2011, beating Republican incumbent Scott Brown to become the first female senator from the state. Warren was re-elected to the Senate in 2018. A fierce critic of corruption, Warren made headlines for her ferocious attack on Wells Fargo CEO John Stumpf following the bank's account fraud scandal.
So you haven't resigned. You haven't returned a single nickel of your personal earnings. You haven't fired a single senior executive. Instead, evidently, your definition of accountable is to push the blame to your low-level employees who don't have the money for a fancy PR firm to defend themselves. It's gutless leadership. You should resign. You should give back the money that you took while this scam was going on, and you should be criminally investigated by both the Department of Justice and the Securities and Exchange Commission.
She has also long taken aim at corruption and President Trump.
Donald Trump is an accelerant. Okay. He takes a problem that has been growing and growing and growing, and he just sets it off and makes it worse than ever.
Because of corruption?
Yes.
Okay.
Trump has in turn often scorned Warren, in particular mocking her claim of Native American ancestry by referring to her as Pocahontas.
Forced over there by Bernie and by Pocahontas. And Massachusetts is represented by Pocahontas. So now we'll only have Pocahontas to think about, because I think, I think maybe it could be Pocahontas. I hope so. I hope it's Pocahontas.
Warren took a DNA test in 2018, and while the results showed Native American ancestry from 6 to 10 generations ago, the fact she took the test at all offended both Native American leaders and activists who felt she took Trump's bait. The president has continued to mock Warren over social media, and so far, she has found taking on Trump a lot tougher than taking on Wall Street. She rang in 2019 by announcing a presidential exploratory committee, effectively meaning she is running in 2020.
America's middle class is under attack. How do we get here? Billionaires and big corporations decided they wanted more of the pie, and they enlisted politicians to cut them a fatter slice.
But she followed it up with a rather cringeworthy Instagram live video of her drinking a beer.
Hold on a sec, I'm gonna get me a beer. Robert, my husband Bruce is now in here. You want a beer?
No, I'll pass on the beer for now.
You sure? Come over and say hello to folks.
Yes.
So, this is my sweetie, and I'm crazy for her.
I love you.
I love you too. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, enjoy your beer.
So what are her chances in 2020? A lot of it might depend on whether her friend Bernie Sanders decides to run again. The two senators share a number of views, such as Medicare for all, tackling income inequality, and confronting the rising costs of higher education.
It's like the thing is tilted badly in favor of the rich and the powerful and against everyone else. And the tilt is getting steeper and steeper, and that's why we have to be in this fight.
While her star dimmed somewhat following Sanders' campaign run, she remains the intellectual heavyweight among progressives on Capitol Hill, and she has a large, devout following, where you can buy everything from Warren children's books to Warren action figures. For these reasons, she should be taken seriously as a fundraiser, but as someone who doesn't like to campaign that much, it might be trickier to continue raising money over a long campaign. And her popularity has waned recently as well. Despite being re-elected as senator in 2018, her performance in the midterms was disappointing. Even though she won by 24 points, it's a worse performance than Hillary Clinton when she ran in 2016. Despite being a well-respected figure on the left of the Democratic Party, she might struggle to appeal to young voters in the same way Beto O'Rourke or Kamala Harris do.
I'm going to get me a beer.